you guys, this is Dash from Bloom Where You're Planted. For those of you that are new here, I am an urban homesteader and I turn my front yard into a garden where I grow my food, and I raise rabbits and chickens and bees and chase after children. And my passion is to help others to learn how to grow their own food. So for those of you that have been following along on my journey, I have been super busy. My husband's job, his company got bought out, and so the layoffs started. He still is working, but so I took on another job so that we could just have that assurance if something happened to his, that we would have some time for him to look for a new job. So nothing's happened yet. He's still working, so that is very fun, but I have had a lot less time on the homestead, which is good in a way because I know a lot of you are in the same boat, and so it really helps me, I think, to help you guys better, to have less time and really have to focus on the projects I need to get done to create food for my family. All right, so having said all that, I have like a surprise day off. I won't go into all the reasons I have a day off, but some computer problems that don't have anything to do with me and I cannot fix today, so I totally had the day off. So it has so much potential. Join me. I am under my trellis canopy. It is a beautiful sunny day. And believe it or not, it is not frozen. We've not had our first freeze in Dallas, Texas, which is amazing because usually that's November 11th and we're way past that. So yay, so the garden is still looking great. But what I'm looking forward to doing today is harvesting sweet potatoes because I'm gonna need those in a few days for our Thanksgiving meal, and breeding rabbits because that has been on the list for a while. I've had a little frustration there, I'll tell you about it. And then, what's the last thing? Oh, that. I have something to confess to you. This is where my fall winter garden should be, and sadly, it is not, as you can see. I have beautiful calendula flowers going for healing oil, and I have garlic planted and coming up, and a whole bed of elephant garlic coming up, looking good. But sadly, that's pretty much where production stopped and I went to work. So today I am going to, I'm not going to worry about not having a fall garden, and this was probably the best fall season I've had in 10 years. I mean, the weather was perfect. It would have been perfect for a fall garden and a huge harvest, but that's okay. These things, life happens. So today I'm gonna plant some little plants under my grow lights inside, because if I put them out now, they'll be too little when the first freeze comes and it will kill them. So I'm gonna let them get a little bigger, stronger inside, pot them up, and then bring them out and cover them for a winter garden, which I can do here in Dallas, Texas pretty easily. So I'm not gonna let that bother me. It's not a failure. Life happens. All right, let's harvest some sweet potatoes. I should mention that we're still homeschooling. That hasn't changed, so that is good. And it is a lot, but it is so worth it. I just pulled up the heart of the garden. All right, well, there's our harvest. Not incredible, but certainly enough for Thanksgiving. Yum. The next thing on the list tonight is breeding rabbits, which is not going very successful either. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. Well, she hasn't for a couple of months now. So it's time to pull out my tricks, my rabbit breeding tricks. Yeah, he's a pretty handsome guy over there. Go give him a second chance. Now, breeding rabbits in Dallas, Texas, or down in the South, is a little bit more challenging than you would think, because you're basically trying to work an animal against its biological clock, or its biological nature or tendency. Because normally, of course, rabbits would breed in the spring. And we really can't breed in the spring because it gets too hot, and the rabbits just don't do well in the Texas heat. So our breeding time is in the fall and in the winter. So unfortunately, because of the shorter days, the less light enters their eyes, and they shut off breeding time. It's nature's way of saying it's going to be cold. There's going to be less food. Nothing's going to be growing. Don't breed. Same with chickens. They stop laying because there's less light in their eyes. The days are shorter, so you can hang up a light in their coop to stimulate their breeding again, because again, don't have chicks, there's not going to be food available. So as an urban homesteader, we have to use little tricks. Now you guys, it's a little time consuming breeding rabbits, so I haven't had time to do that because I have to sit out here and watch. First of all, I'm watching that my beautiful doe doesn't beat up on my sweet buck. He's trying to talk her into it. But the other thing is, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss that breeding, that I make sure he's bred, or she's bred, sorry. Make sure she's bred so I can know to put it in the nest box in 28 days. I don't want to wait that 28 days and then have no babies in the nest box. So I have to watch and make sure that that happens, which it is not. So even if I leave for a minute, I might miss it. I wish I could leave my camera here and let you guys watch for me, but I'm not sure I have time to watch through all that footage either. All right, let me show you the tricks I usually use that work great for me. Now, sometimes a doe or a buck can refuse to breed because they're just fat and lazy. So I don't think that's the case. In my case, I have exercise pins for them to get out in, and I don't think that's the problem. So the next step, if you think they're fat and lazy, get them some exercise, get them out of that cage somehow. All right, the next thing is to offer them leafy greens. For a couple of weeks, offer them lots of leafy greens. Didn't mean to put them on your head. Like blackberry leaves, or sweet potato vine, sweet potato leaves, or maybe comfrey if you have it, or kale if you have that. Just to make sure she's getting what she needs and he's getting what he needs. Now if that doesn't work, make them up some Funny Delight. This is a mixture of seeds that I make up. So again, put on that fat and just make sure they're getting what they need. So I will put a link in the description of the recipe. That had pumpkin seeds in them this time. I don't always do that. Just after Halloween, it's a parasite remover. So that's really good in case they are loaded down with parasites. That'll help get those out. And then they'll be more likely to breed. I'll leave recipe and description. All right, if your rabbit still won't breed like mine wouldn't, I called a friend. So glad to have homesteading friends and community. And she said, try some multivitamins with minerals. So I'll hook to a link with this up on Amazon. And I just took out the pills and put them in my coffee grinder and made a powder. And I put 1/4 of a teaspoon on their feed every day. So hopefully if they weren't getting the nutrients that they needed, they will be now. But that still didn't work. On to the next thing. Now on this one, you're gonna think I'm joking, but I'm really not. You can make them a pitcher of tea and just give this to them instead of water. It's raspberry tea. Sometimes it will stimulate them to breed. So yeah, now we're giving them tea and special food and greens, and we're trying to bring on that, turn that biological nature and tell them it's spring, there's plenty. Okay, but all that has failed. So the next and last step is a little bit harder to do, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. The next solution is put a spotlight on her. You probs don't want to watch me struggle to untangle my electrical cord. 14 people comment and tell me how to wind my electrical cord properly so it won't get tangled up. No, that will not be encouraging to me. Don't do it. I know you wanna, but don't. Alright, so you get the idea. It's kind of like with chickens. We just need to get more light at the end of the sunset. When I come out and turn this on, I'm going to leave it on for a few hours, 2 or 3 hours into the evening, and then come and turn it off. Now, this would be a lot easier for me if my rabbitry were inside, indoors obviously. So I really have to watch whether it's going to rain or not, and remove all this if it's going to rain. So yeah, it's a little bit complicated raising rabbits in the South. Not as straightforward as you would think. Anyway, but it's possible, and I do think it's worth it because it does produce a good bit of meat for your family. And a few days of that, and that should have her breathing. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. I forgot the last trick to switch their cages. The doe goes in the bucks and the buck goes in the does. She gets to hang out in his cage and get the scent of him, and he gets to hang out in her cage and get the scent of her. Hopefully this will kindle a romance of sorts. I don't think I'm going to get my seeds done tonight, but that's okay. It was a fabulous day on the homestead.
The Japanese purple sweet potatoes combined with the orange ones and the red peppers and onions made for a colorful, flavorful Thanksgiving dish. We roasted chickens instead of turkey. We enjoyed each other's company. We savored each bite. We have so much to be thankful for. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys.